Hello beautiful singers, this is Valerie White-Williams and Vocal Splendor Studios. And today I would like to talk to you about reality TV lies regarding aspiring professionals. And this is something I wanted to talk to for a long time. As I mentioned in my last video, I have been approached by reality TV shows, 3 of them, America's Got Talent, The Voice, and X Factor, to audition privately. And this is something a lot of people don't realize, is that all these shows recruit professionals to be on their shows, and they give them private auditions. So not everybody has to go through these mass auditions, which can be very tiring and not always fair. So let me discuss some of the things I found extremely frustrating about certain things that reality TV shows have kind of infiltrated into our culture and our concepts about how to build a singing career. Because the reality TV shows are all about themselves and making money for the labels and for their advertisers. And so they have created a false paradigm about what it takes or what singers need to do to make it, whatever that means. So let me go ahead and discuss some of these concepts. Number one is, and this is something I learned from a woman named Carrie Cole, who has an awesome blog. I highly recommend you check her out. She's worked with many high-level singers, and she and I are on the same page on this, is that in the decade that reality TV shows have been going on, many really talented professional singers have spent tons of money traveling across the country to try and make it on these shows. And so the money they are taking to travel with this off chance they get in is better spent building their portfolio of songs, putting out CDs, building a local following. That's really the way that singers make a career. Not being discovered on a reality TV show, although it can happen, it usually doesn't work out that well in the long run. As we've seen many people that have been on Idol and The Voice, they get a little splash of following, but many of them, even the winners, go back to their day jobs. I find that incredibly sad. And they're given these contracts that don't necessarily honor their vision, but what the record company thinks will make money. And so many of these people get out of those contracts right away and try to make it on their own. Yes, they have more name recognition, but would they be better off if they just did it the old-fashioned way, which building a product locally and getting a huge demand? Now that's what happened with Macklemore. I live in Seattle, and the Macklemore story is very well known. When Macklemore had his breakout hit, Thrift Shop, which, believe it or not, one of my good friends from college that I've worked with, Mike Wansley, he's a friend of mine, and I saw this all go down when he started touring with Macklemore. Now everybody thought, wow, this guy came out of nowhere. Well, the truth of the matter is he had been in Seattle for over 10 years building his brand. He was that guy that was playing with recordings and wearing crazy clothes in high school. He'd been working that long to get to the point where he was ready for a big national splash. He didn't do it by doing a reality TV show. In fact, who knows if he would have made it there. Macklemore slowly built his fan base by giving his fans what they wanted. He encouraged fan interaction from the very beginning. He would have contests, pizza parties for his fans, slowly built his branding. Another band that just became big nationally is 21 Pilots. They actually almost had a very similar story. They were in Ohio, and they just built a fan base by performing for their fans and growing their audience to the point where they could not be ignored. And what happened with those 2 bands is that they are in control of their career, not the big time labels, because they had the fan base that they could control their career, which is the best for all artists, because no one wants to be a corporate robot. Well, okay, maybe some people want to be a corporate robot, but I'll be honest, who's going to remember those people in 10, 20 years? Probably not very likely, because corporate robot music is utterly forgettable and nobody wants to hear it after it was recorded. I call that McMusic, and it's just like fast food. Fast food music, it does not last the test of time. And I think most artists want to be remembered and lasting the test of time, not just looking hot in a costume. It's not really what music is about. Sorry, rant over, but I want to hear content and quality music that is unique and sincere to the artist. And that's another thing about these shows, is because everything becomes homogenized. This idea that you have to have a certain look and a certain sound to be popular. Sorry, it's bullshit. Great artists don't go for being safe and doing what's okay and what the labels like, because the bands I just mentioned did not fit the norm and they broke through anyway because they were awesome. Their content was real and truthful and sincere. And it was great. They worked hard. So that is one of the lies I want to speak to, is that you will get discovered, and being discovered is your key to success. And that's kind of a myth. It does happen, but don't waste thousands of dollars traveling to these shows in order to the hope that you might be discovered. Build your fan base, build your band, put your money into making a recording and other ways to fund your career. So the other lie that I hate about reality TV show is they downplay training, because training isn't seen as sexy, as exciting. It's boring. People think it's boring, or it just doesn't sell records because this idea of this person that they found is better than you. They are talented. You're not. You're going to buy their record and we're going to buy them. So what happens is the people on these shows often have had years of training, years of experience, but they just don't talk about it. And they portray these artists like they just woke up out of bed and they're amazing. And this is completely fabricated, and the industry, not just Idol, has been doing this for years. Don't fall for it. Don't fall for it. Because so many artists have had so much training in school with teachers that they just don't mention it very much. Be honest, if you want to get high-level skills, you need to develop those skills just like an athlete does. No one goes to the Olympics and goes, yeah, I'm a self-taught runner, I'm going to make the Olympic trials. Nobody does that. Singing and music is the same. High-level singers and players have worked hard, and they've had lessons, or they grew up in a musical family, which they're generational and they all do music, and that does happen too. But even those people have had years and years of training playing with their family members. So that also happens, and I'm tired of that being misrepresented in the reality TV show. All right, so do you want to build a career? If you want to do The Voice and you want to try out for these shows, and I've had students do it, I say do it for the experience if you want that experience. But don't take it badly if you are not chosen. When I last did the Voice auditions, the private auditions, I heard a lot of singers that were amazing not get chosen. I heard some very mediocre singers that got chosen to go on. Now, part of that is because they were looking for certain types of people. Again, they say that they found the best singers in the country. Not true. Absolutely not true. They're looking for a certain look, a certain genre, a certain niche market that will appeal to the marketers and the advertisers and the record labels. Now, what's happened is that niche has gotten narrower and narrower and narrower, where you have to be a certain age, you have to be a certain size, you have to have a certain look. And it saddens me and frustrates me, because in the 70s and 80s and beyond, there's tons of artists that were amazing, had huge followings, but they didn't have the model look, or they didn't have the persona that you want on these shows. Additionally, what they're looking for on these shows are people that have a backstory. Oh, sob story. Oh, my mother died and I cleaned toilets and I was homeless. I lived in my car. Then I got shot. You know, the more dramatic, the better. And so if you don't have a story like that, they're less likely to choose you. Absolutely. Also, they need people who are going to emote on camera. You're going to have to be really high energy and have all this energy, or just cry. Oh, yeah, that stuff. Okay, so if you're not that kind of person, then you're not going to be chosen either. Now, think about Prince. Like, here's an example. Can you imagine Prince on The Voice or these reality TV shows? The answer is no. He would not put up with it. He would just stand there and not say anything, and they kick him off. Really, because that's what they want. They don't want people that are going to not communicate. Michael Jackson, super introverted. He would not feel comfortable too. They destroy him. So, in fact, that's the other thing about these shows, is they really put people through the ringer. It's kind of abusive. Their lack of sleep. They put people in dramatic situations to kind of add to the drama. And it doesn't necessarily foster art. It fosters good TV. The truth of the matter is that many of our world famous artists of years past would have never made it through reality TV show for the reasons I suggested. They didn't have the right look, and they don't have the right personality, and they don't have that emotive energy that reality TV shows want. Because in reality, many of the greatest musical artists were introverts. They needed to introvert to create their art, and they would express it in an outward way on stage, but great art takes, as one of my teachers said, creative loneliness, so you can work on your craft and your songwriting. And that doesn't fly on the reality TV screen where it's bigger and louder and more dramatic. So go ahead and watch those shows if you want. I'm kind of over them, but if you want a career and you want to make something of yourself, take lessons, study, work hard, build a following, go to people that can help you, and don't waste your time doing reality TV shows, because they probably already found a ringer that they choose to win anyway. Work on your own craft yourself, and you will be so much more honest and real, and people will love you for that honesty, real talent, and integrity. All right, there you go. Tell me what you think about your experience with reality TV show. Have you gone there? I know people like it. It's fun to watch, but definitely a guilty pleasure. So don't forget to click the bell and subscribe if you want more content on singing and career building. Thank you so much for subscribing and sharing and liking. I look forward to making you more videos, and sing on.